Howdys and salutations, y'all. Welcome back to this fine Monday evening. And some exciting things going on as Art Fight has officially kicked off, and I'm not mostly asleep like I was yesterday. Actually, I really am, but I'm not quite as groggy in the morning. I've had enough time to wake a little bit. That said, I know it's day 3 of Art Fight, but I am probably going to be slowing my pace on the art just a little bit, because, well, I nearly wore myself out dealing with the character sheets. Just all the prep and the deadlines to try to get those ready. It's not that I'm burned out. I'm raring to go on the art, but physically I'm not getting enough sleep and it's impacting job and also art. So I need to pause first a little bit. Don't get me wrong, we're still going to be doing the streams, we're still going to be keeping it up. But don't expect so many of the 3-hour monster streams that we've been doing lately. I'm going to try to rein that in a little bit. Also, I'm going to be honest, it is like a 50-50 whether or not we stream tomorrow. I want to stream it. I want to make up the stream if we skip it. But it is a holiday here, and I need to actually take a break. For the love of goodness, I'm so bad at it. I've over-routined myself a little bit and over-committed on just... It's not like I overcommit on signing up for specific things, but it's just day-to-day routine has gotten a little crazy because I'm trying to work in fitness, I'm trying to work in a couple different art media. Well, there's this, and then there's actual going out and observing nature and drawing that with a pencil and paper. That takes time too. There's stretches. I've got doctor's appointments. I've got all the other just normal day-to-day human adulting maintenance stuff. Y'all know how it is probably, or if you don't, you will at some point. But the point is, I've plus job plus this. I've kind of just sorted myself into too many routines, and I don't have enough time to do that. But I also want to throw out there that I tend to prefer being in routine, because when I'm not in it, I have a bad habit of just sort of squandering the time. So I don't want to get away from my routines. I just need to make sure that I leave myself pauses, like a long weekend here and there, a break, And on that note, we will have, unfortunately, week 3 of Art Fight. You probably won't see much of me, because my family's doing some travel, and I am definitely tagging along with them on that. So week 3 probably going to be pretty quiet, but week 4, I'm hoping to be right back at it all the way through the end on that Monday. We'll see, though. That said, it gives me all the more impetus to try to do more today and these early days. But that's why we're looking at the Art Fight overview page. As you can see, werewolves are still leading about 20,000 points, as they have basically since near the beginning. This has gone up 4 million points, with the difference not really changing much beyond those 20,000. The 3-2 to 5 or 5-3-2 to 5-3-5, basically. Obviously there's variance, but it's been pretty close. Which is to be expected. The event gets big enough that individual pieces kind of wash out into just this stagnant bar, which is okay. Let's go check out the profile real quick, just some updates on where we're at. I did throw up one more character. It's not nearly as refined as the other character sheets, but I just needed to get it done and available. So we'll have PETA up here. You can tell it's there's not shading. It's not nearly as refined. The character design's not as refined, and the costume definitely. I'm looking for more ideas and stuff. But this is PETA. She's a harpy. She's fun. I've put way more backstory on here than usual. She's a D&D NPC that actually got more screen time than the others, and so her story has evolved a bit more. But I like her. I think she's fun. Of course I like her. She's my OC. I don't know a lot of people who hate their own OCs. Now, there's some who put them through so many nightmares that it seems like they hate them, but usually that's because they want them to grow as characters and, see what they do and things. But, I don't think most people hate their OCs. And then, of course, a recap. We've done one attack so far. Again, I'll admit this was probably, not the most in-depth attack in the world. We chose kind of one of the blob characters, but I do seriously love this character. Oh, I did add a tail off stream. I noticed right before I was about to upload it that the character sheet totally has a tail. So, added that. Yeah, it's rough. I already feel the itch to revisit it, but I'm trying to move on and keep going with Art Fight. If we revisit this person, this was Huntz's character. If we revisit Huntz, it'll be an attack on a different character for sure, just to mix it up. Yeah. Also, I'm cracking up because this is an important thing, I suppose. Last year, I did 2 attacks, and they were more detailed than this one, to say the least. They were, I spent many more days on them, a lot of detail. We were like testing new hair drawing styles for this one, and so on. So we were doing all that, and this drawing with all of its detail for what it's worth, which took a long time in those days too. I was so slow. I feel like my technique has improved, but there's still room to grow. And then this other one, those two combined had the same total point value as this one, just because these were both friendly fire. So it's making me want to aim for less friendly fire. The problem is, not everyone, you can see, like, not everyone is vampire, but a lot of the people who I want to do attacks on are. There's a few that aren't, but a lot of them are. And so I'll be honest, I'm tempted to turn traitor already, just so that I can, like, be scoring tangible points. Like, I really don't, I'll be honest, I don't care if the team I'm on wins or loses. I just want to, I just want to be able to, like, interact with the game a little more. With these point values, it's not like it makes that much difference, but it's still, to some extent, I don't want to do another year of pretty much all friendly fire. So I'm debating that. I'm going to throw that in the Discord too for some discussion, see what people think. But yeah, because I bookmarked a lot of characters, which I'm not going to spoil that list on stream because I don't want to, like, fall through. Because I bookmarked more than I can possibly do. So I don't want to commit to any or, like, imply that I'll do them and then run out of time and fail. Because that'd be no fun. That'd be no fun for anyone. So yeah, we'll be holding off on showing that view off. But I do believe that I have a character for us to do today, which may or may not end up being friendly fire. We're going to find out eventually. But first, let me crack open my actual drawing program, because we need to start this one fresh. Again, get this out of the way. Zoom! Wow, I forgot that was so big because of what we were looking at. I guess recent? No, we're just gonna do a new one. Brand new. So I've been doing the 8... I've got a bunch of stinking presets in here. I've got this old 8.5 by 11. It's not that old, but it's, US paper size. More specifically, it actually has enough pixels to do stuff with, more than, like, the HD ones, which is what I had been using. Full HD, this is like 4 times as many, and I found that it's made drawing much easier. I've been doing trying to do daily sketch practices. This week I've been a little busy with Art Fight for it, but just something on my lunch break at work. And I've got a nice little square template for those, with actually even higher res. Well, let's stick to 8.5 by 11 for now. Let's go ahead and get the title in here. Wow, it's July already. That's so hard to believe. Even with Art Fight, it's hard to believe. We're halfway through 23 already. That's crazy. A few years have just flown by. I guess that's what having a desk job does. It's not that it eats all your time, it just makes your time more routine, which means that there's sort of fewer milestones for your memory to leap back to think about, and so it feels like less time has passed. When you use your time with more variety, your brain, like, registers separate, like, eras. Eras is the wrong word, but, like, separate sections of your life a little more. And so it can feel like a lot longer. I feel like that's why college feels often like an eternity, because you've got so many different classes and so many different, like, social groups and events and stuff. So, like, it's constantly changing. And sure, there's, like, landmark things like festivals and stuff, but even just spending, like, one semester on one topic and then another semester on a completely different one, it's going to add that variety that your brain's like, oh, look at all the things we've studied between whatever I'm remembering and now. We must have been doing a lot and busy. Whereas jobs tend to be a little more homogenous. There's fewer definitive breaks, so you don't even have, like, the semester system. It's just sort of like blur of tasks that slowly evolve or fade off or grow on. I'm sure many jobs are all structured differently, but that's been my experience. And so, like, it has made things a blur. Obviously, the pandemic did not help. It assuredly did not help. Because it turned everything into blur because all the normal landmarks and pauses were gone, and the only thing that was there was stress. Which isn't great. Not gonna lie, not great. Even if you weren't stressed about the pandemic, the politics at that point were such a disaster for everyone. Like, just the sheer hysteria online, the panics, the anger that wasn't getting directed in anything useful. There was, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying generally, like, there was plenty of well-directed anger. Very justified stuff, but there was also a lot of garbage and a lot of, like, conspiracy nonsense, and it made those years awful. Just the worst. Absolutely garbo. So, yeah, I'm happy to be past those days, truth be told. Let's see. So I'm trying to pull up. Right, I was going to actually pull us up a character to do. Sorry, I need to go to my own bookmarks now that it's not on the screen and see who we're going to attack next, because I swear I did prioritize these. First off, I need to bookmark this one, though. Hold on, hold them horses. Bookmarking this character, making sure I've got it ready to go so that I don't forget it, because this is going to be a busy month. And I'll be honest, I may or may not stream all of the attacks I do. We'll see if I have time to do stuff off stream or not. I make no promises. But I'd like to do more than just the 2 attacks we did last year. As much as last year was genuinely quite fun. I don't know, we started super late, and if I can't do more than I did with a super late start, then, like, what am I even doing? But it still takes me a long time to do art pieces that I'm happy with. Like, way shorter than it used to be. But still long. Looking at you, Mikola, for the longest. But Melania, we spent a long time on Melania. That was like a month of streams. But it was also the best art thing I had done up to that point, full stop. So, like, I can't be that mad. I'm going to go ahead and throw art fight in the chat just so we got that there. And a quick double check that I'm properly live, because it's sometimes hard to tell. Stream info, am I tagging stuff right? I think so. Art. Good, I've got art fight tagged. Let's see. Or Team Vampire. There we go. I guess I can tag this vampire too. Cool. This is utterly so. I'm sorry I'm doing so much stream setup live. Like I said, I've been like kind of tired and vacation out of it today, so my brain, it no be doing things good. Boop boop. Ah, there's so many I want to do. So many. How many things do I have bookmarked in here? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, we're not doing 20 art pieces this month. I highly doubt I'm going to be setting a new personal record and nailing almost 1 piece a day. That's not going to happen. But I'm going to try to do as many of these as I can, as well as I can. Let's see. First off, you know what? Yeah. While we're on Team Vampire, we may change later, and I really don't know what changing does to your existing points. Do they, like, become friendly fire, or do they just stay with the team you dedicated them to? Because I kind of hope it's the second one. I'd love to just dump points into both teams and generally contribute nothing useful to the fight, but at least feel like I am, which is silly. But there's... Okay. So, hold on. Two characters. Let us start with GalacticTragedy's Pandora. I think that'll be a good place to begin while we're still on opposite teams, just in case I switch. Pandora Marsh, GalacticTragedy. Okay, let's pull this one up. Let's see what we're in for. Okay. So I know Galactic has stopped by stream before, so, you know, we won't go anything crazy. But here's the character. Oops. I guess that works too. We got a little bit of backstory, only note, alcoholic but recovering, age 16. Jeepers, that's a rough time. Age 16 and a recovering alcoholic. Oh boy. But yeah, so we're gonna have a go at drawing this character. I'll be honest, the two main reasons I picked this out of all of Galactic's characters are green is my favorite color and I like cardigans. But arbitrary reasons, I know, but they've got a lot of interesting ones. We'll do Pandora. Also lesbian. No details on permissions, but I don't think we're going to be doing anything crazy here. I'll check the main page just in case. And uploaded. Oh, okay, a pretty new one. Team Werewolves got the characters. Featured ones. And already getting on with the attacks. Dang. Okay. Well, then we'll have to get into it. Beep, 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 beep. Cool. Okay, here's our ref. I'm going to actually drag this onto my desktop real quick so we can have it in our viewer. GalacticTragedy, Pandora. Didn't entirely spell that right, but that's fine. Oh, hey, Mikola again. How did that happen? Genuinely, how did that? Did I move the other ones and it defaulted back to that? How's it still on Mikola? Okay, well, anyway. Actually, I need to find my desktop. Where the heck is that? Oh, please ignore my very stupid memes. Here we go. I always like save memes to my desktop while I'm chatting with friends so I can throw them in Discord, and then like I forget to clean them up. I need to fix that. At least this side's not messy. I've just got the Mikola refs and the Elden Ring beach scene, which I want to do like an actual stinking acrylic painting of. Okay, slight tangent. I think this is. I realize there's like zombies and stuff in it, but I still find like this to be one of the nicest, most serene parts of Elden Ring. Just kind of chilling. People, they're kind of just vibing there, wandering around. The beach is nice. The background is nice, calm and quiet in the rain. It's such a weirdly cozy place, which I don't know why, but it is. There's a merchant there. He's cool. I don't know that throughout the game I had lots of. It says a lot about how big the game was, but like the same thing kind of happened in Hollow Knight with the way you get around in that one because of the lack of warping. Is you sort of end up with a few save points that become your like happy places. Like it's like I'm cozy in this. I'm going to enjoy just like being here. Whenever I get back to this one, it feels comfortable. It's like a little home away from home, or sometimes it is the home, especially because spawn points tend to get damaged in those sorts of games. Looking at you, Firelink. Yeah, so I don't know, like that grace there was one of my just comfy graces. I loved going back there. Weirdly, the first real like cozy grace I found, and I remember it felt so far away from the beginning of the game. I felt like I was like in the wasteland somewhere, and this was like a home away from home. It's on the stinking Weeping Peninsula, and like not even crazy far into it. It was just at the like Frenzy Village. But that view over the cliffs, it's just a gorgeous view. The village is, you know, cozy if you don't go near it. But that one, Grace, it's just there's a nice little rope bridge. Sure, like there's a good view of a small air tree. It was just lovely. Really, really enjoyed it. And then I moved on, and elsewhere, I'm still fond of everything about Castle Morn. Just so much about that game had its weird cozy moments. What were other cozy grace points? Oh! The first grace right by the Lake of Liurnia. The one where you get past the encampment and you're down like at the water. Mainly because the immense relief I felt when I found out that the water wasn't poisonous was enough for me to just sit down and be like, this is a good game. Turns out there's poison garbage all over the game, but still, that lake wasn't poison, and it was like not hard to get through or like wander around in. I felt quite happy. Very content with that situation. And I went there super too early because I didn't do Stormvale before I just wandered into Liurnia. So it felt like an interesting challenge just getting past the fort before it. Learning to parry on those guys. It was fun. Fewer of them as you get further into the game, just because you at some point you're just like, I have to keep moving, I have to keep moving, I have to keep moving. One that definitely was not cozy is there's one in like the sunken manor or whatever it is with the poison swamp around it. I know that narrows it down so much. But there's a grace where there's a very slowly walking enemy that will, if you sit at the grace long enough, it'll show up and kick you out of the grace and then very slowly kill you. I happened to AFK for dinner at that grace point, and I am still a little bit salty about that. Like, I didn't lose anything crazy, but I was still mad. Like, it's like, come on, really? You've got to be kidding me with that. But it's worked out in the end. I'm gonna go to Pinterest and just grab a pose. There's like, sure, I've got some pose refs in here. I'm gonna search confident pose. Dagnabbit, no, not my pins. All pins. Confident pose. Feels like it'd be her vibe. Okay, that's a pirate from like a D&D manual. That's actually someone in a suit of armor. Man, Pinterest has some bizarre definitions for confident pose, but you know, good on them. I'd be confident if I was in armor too, actually. Might be misplaced confident. That armor wasn't always the perfect defense you wanted it to be. Oh, a Dorcas stock. Okay, yeah. No, they're always reliable. I'm not sure Twitch will be friendly with them, even though they're closed. But a Dorcas stock, highly recommend. Pretty sure this is a Dorcas stock. No, it looks like this is a different one. It's from the Pose archives on DeviantArt. Slash look pub stock. You know, I'm not sure. Well, okay. We'll start with that. Right, let's get our brush on here, and let's. What'll work? Which of these three poses work best with the cardigan? Still be an interesting pose, even with cardigan. Okay, cardigan has sleeves, but they're not too affixed to the back, so that'll be fine. That one would work. Got a good leg angle. Okay, cool. Technically, thinking whatever with lines of action. I'm sure they're helpful, but I feel like you need other prerequisite skills to like make them more useful. Like by default, I have found lines of action don't really help me all that much. That's why I've enjoyed like this silhouetting out, because I can think of it as like forms rather than like trying to think of lines of motion necessarily. And when you've got a good reference, just aiming for the forms is usually good enough. Although, I mean, I'm not going to pretend these are amazing proportion solutions. Angle, this kind of has like a little more of a lumpy edge. I'm making this way too big. Hold on. Like something more like this, maybe. Okay, yeah, I think we may need to do some proportion corrections on this one. I didn't do my daily drawing practice today, and I can tell that I am not warmed up. Okay, hold on. That's supposed to be the leg, then probably gonna have to shrink this down again, but no, it actually, no. Let's shrink the leg to match the body a little more. Okay, I'm gonna keep trying with this. Narrow it all out a little bit. General form of that, like, yeah, there's like a little curve out, but it's so much more mild that it's not the important. There we go. Needs to, by and large, be I guess concave as opposed to convex. It depends on which direction you're looking at it from, though. Oops. Gotta remember that's a color notch. I just need to set up an eraser with that shape so I can use my eraser hotkey and stop having to worry about that. Okay. This is more of an arc up because we've sort of revised shape and size a little bit. I always end up doing this. Shape up. No, this is a little... This is my problem with the form, is I really am still just like kind of like piecing it together, especially for the proportions. Which does not always pay off, but sometimes it does. Let's keep going with this and see where it gets us. Trying to get leg shapes is frequently something that I find tough. Just because it's not as bad as the arms, but the problem is that your brain's concept of what it should like tends to mess with what you're actually seeing on a reference. And in order to do it without reference, you need a lot of understanding of the shape of it. Because the silhouette changes so drastically between angles. That's really the biggest problem. Is like the angle of the leg is going to look, or the silhouette of a leg is going to look extremely different, even just partially rotated. Just because of its, asymmetrical, interesting shape. It's part of the reason that, people like drawing people is because the shapes are complex and interesting, and also I'm sure evolutionarily we're like, person, friend. And it even applies to like art understanding, but like it's also to some extent it's just like, oh, these are kind of interesting shapes. They're not just a plain old square, even if it can be sort of reduced to a plain old square. All right, now that the torso is now looking too tall. Now that I've got the context of the other leg, this needs to arc in earlier. This needs to actually, it's probably about fine, and then just maybe chill off a little bit. We'll get the shoulders in here. That arm is sort of... The arms aren't going to silhouette super well on this one. That's probably fine, because they're crossed. We'll have to sort of work on that as we go. And then we'll work on face shape when we get to face shape. We can sort of get some loose hair stuff going in here. I tend to cheat a little on the silhouette shape with the face and with the hair. Just because I find that if you don't, there's not really great silhouette to where one ends and the other begins, and it's usually good to get a little info on that. Like, fill out a little bit. Like, this is playing fast and loose with the concept of silhouette, but it's a start. Here we can like tone some of this down a little bit. Not sure that actually helped. Nope, that's the wrong button. Not sure what that button was, but it wasn't the right one. What I do know is that the real problem there is the shoulder needs to come further back. Let's try adjusting our tilt a little bit. Maybe that's not the problem. Maybe like, or at least not as intensely. It'll work. Oh, right, I may have put the legs a little too far apart. Maybe that's what the issue was. Well, anyway, there's a silhouette of a person. We'll start with that. Now we're going to want to look a little more to our reference, rather than our pose reference, our, like, you know, actual art fight reference. I'll pull that to another window. Y'all have the mini one on screen, but that one's a little harder from my view. Let's see. Oh, I feel like I ought to, just for good measure. Art fight attack. Notes. Let's just throw down some details real quick. Put this in a way. I need to make sure that y'all are going to be able to actually see it while I'm drawing, because if I shove it in the corner up there, y'all won't. Okay. Art. Fight. Attacks. Pandora. By GalacticTragedy. Okay. Just so that, you know, we've got credit where it's due. Now, we can minimize this a little bit, and let's start working on, like, actual character shape with this outfit, because that is going to change some things. And we can start looking at values a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to focus on the cardigan first, which is actually fairly dark. It's darker than most of the other things. I don't want to go crazy with it, because it's real easy for that to become washed out. Guess what I can do is I can also nab this and check its actual saturation, or, yeah, value, 45. Okay, that's fairly dark. Yeah, I feel like this one's probably too high. No, 34. Okay, so I was really about on it, 42. I'll probably play around with the colors a little bit, just to try to make everything all matchy and nice and all that. Out of curiosity, the skin tone. This is one of the benefits of having this in subview, by the way, is the color picker works on it. Value on the skin tone, 81. Cool, much lighter. And the hair is going to be not quite as high, but still high. 69. Okay. This minty one is going to be real high. 90, yeah. And okay, the eyes are slightly darker shade. The shirt is also its own shade. Cool. We got the shirt pattern. But let's start with that cardigan. And I'm going to stick with the, whoops. I'm going to stick with my 34 on this for now, and we can lighten it if we need to. And I guess we probably ought to actually do line work on this first. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Still wet. I thought this was going too fast. I totally skipped a step. Lines. And then we'll get our... I guess we'll technically get our flat, which is going to be the more refined silhouette. I call it the flat. And I'm probably just going to make that the base colors, because it feels like that's been a redundant step lately. Making those different layers is kind of pointless. I should just color the flat layer. So that's what we're going to do. Technically, base values. I've been working on refining my process to try to make it a little faster. We'll stinking see. But this gray should be dark enough to, compared to anything else, it's 18. It'll be dark enough without being quite as harsh as a black line, so I'm going to use it. And let's drop down to, okay. We'll start with 70. That's been getting us some nice lines lately. And this will be a fun opportunity to practice some fabric folds. Okay, outfit here. Got a big cuff. or a big sort of, I don't know what you call that. It's technically the collar, I guess, but it's also like this sort of flap where the inside's kind of flipped outside. Often there's buttons on it. I don't know the name for that. That kind of weirds me out that I don't know the name for that. Let's see, and cardigans tend to be more flowy. Although this one is also going to be in an arms crossed position. I'm going to just get some loose lines in here for reference. These are not going to be final lines. But just to have those there, they probably ought to be on their own layer, honestly. Cutting those. Oh, have I been doing all these on the wrong layer anyway? That's good to know. Oh, come on. There we go. Yep. Okay, all that was on the wrong layer anyway. So I'm glad we did that. Bam. Let's get to the line layer, maybe. We'll have our arm notes, but we'll make them a little lighter so they don't get confused with anything. Arm notes. Okay, cool. Now let's have a fresh go at this, but with a little more cardigan. I need to refresh on like this kind of fabric flow, to be honest. I'm a hair rusty. I'm going to crack open Pinterest again because I think I just saved some pins on it just to refresh. By the way, if y'all want to see my Pinterest, I know I pitch it all the time, but it's because I stinking use it all the time. Let's see what's in the miscellaneous tutorials, and I've been having great luck with it. I'd always thought of it as like a, I don't know, meme browsing or just kind of random image tool for like fan art finding and stuff. I had never really considered it for like reference gathering like this. And to be fair, it's partly because I didn't fully understand like mood board as a concept. Which I still don't nail that one, but I feel like I get it better than I used to. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. I guess I didn't save a good... Not such a good fabric pattern for this type of thing. I mean, I've got some general ones, but they're less material dependent and more just general fabric wrinkles. I'm just going to search for sleeve. Sleeve. Oh, well, these are nice sleeve styles, but it's not really what I was aiming for. I guess I could just, look up a stinking cardigan. Like, why not just draw from reference? Cardigan sleeves are fun. Now, these tend to be a little heavier than I was really envisioning, too. Interesting. It's been a long time since I wore cardigans. I used to wear them every day. They were like my fashion statement within the bounds of school uniforms. Really liked them, but I can't find any that I like anymore, and I kind of overheat. But they're still stinking better than those awful non-zip sweatshirts, because at least you don't like lift your stinking shirt up every time you wear one. Let's start with this one. Not quite the same pose, but it will do. This is the reference I'm going to be using for this cardigan arm. Really ought to like pure ref this at some point. Pure ref would be a good tool to work back into the streams. It's just kind of annoying to have one more element, especially because it's kind of a hard one to move around. But it's still handy. Okay. So really what I should be expecting is like a little bit more bulk going around there, and then really the folds just go pretty much right out the gate inside of here. That'll do. That's too much repetition going on in that. Yep, cool, that works. And then like a little more there. This one doesn't really have much in the way of a cuff, so I suspect I'm going to see it like kind of here, and then like draping off the other arm a little bit. But it's going to be being pulled mostly vertically down. This might pull it more backwards a little bit, but then the other arm's going to sort of counterbalance that. So we'll start with that. Yeah, I think that'll be a good sleeve beginning for our cardigan. And then we'll have our nice sort of, I still don't know what you call this part. The big part, you know. So that helps narrow it down just a ton. There we go. That's what I was looking for with that. Whoops. Nope. I want that line. Okay. I realize this is probably good. This pose is going to kind of obscure part of the shirt pattern. That's unfortunate. Okay, so the cardigan's kind of billowy, but it also pulls in a little at the end. That's good to know. Might have a slightly narrower seam, so it's going to have a curve like that, and then like pretty quickly in. Well, not quite. We could also give it like a slightly more dramatic angle if we really wanted to. Because cardigans do catch the wind well, although not usually. Like it has to be your motion that's doing it. Like they don't necessarily catch the wind. Like a gentle breeze isn't going to get the cardigan going like this. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out which end does it need to be narrowing towards? This? Yes, there we go. The flat bottom on that's not right. If it was being blown out like this, there'd be an angle to it. There we go. That's better. Still not perfect, but better. And then once again, the sense that this is not connected there, it's not going to be a smooth edge, that's fine. That line weight's a little much, but that's okay. And we can start on this part, which we're going to mellow out a little bit. Even though it like... It does give better contrast, but not against the cardigan part. So yeah, we'll just move on. We can add buttons, which will be on the other side, most likely. Unless this image is inverted, but I don't think it is. Okay, and then she's got this kind of loose t-shirt. Assuming that I'm going to try to keep the wind consistent, so it's also going to be like a little billowy. Quite as much, just a bit. Just for fun. Gonna be fairly true on the other side as well, but again, because it's the silhouette side, we're just gonna see the part that's more pushed up against it and not really the billow behind her. Nope, that's still the eraser. Come on, let's rebalance just a little bit. Good enough. Okay, and this kind of skirt that goes really down to the knees, it's longer than it necessarily looks in this ref, so maybe I ought to make the shirt a little longer too to help balance. Let's see. And that's not a super loose skirt. I'm probably going to need to actually look up my sinking... Okay, Pinterest skirt refs, because I remember finding some useful ones a while back. Drawing. Because, like, basically it has to do with, well, how much the diameter of the bottom part is determines a lot about the folds and such. And, like, the motion of it. Jeepers. Okay, yeah, a lot of these refs are less than helpful. Oh, there we go. That might be more helpful. More of the... I don't know, that's like more narrow than what this one is, I think? There, I think that'll be about right. Maybe like a little more over for that. Maybe a little less. Yeah, okay. We'll leave it at that. I think that'll be reasonable. There we go. Okay, and then legs, and then the socks and shoes. Just gonna keep on working our way on this. Forcing me to actually draw a leg, that's not something I do very much. Because I like my baggy pants. Not that I don't like drawing legs, like they're fine. They're not like some... Okay, admittedly they can be something of a challenge at times. Trying to capture that curve right, but like, they're not like those things like artists trying to hide the hands behind the character. I'm not trying to avoid legs. I just genuinely like baggy clothes. And that has sort of worn off into my characters too. We can refine some of that later. Let's see now. I think it's a little bit hard to tell from the angle on this ref, but I think, let me just double check something real quick. Cool, yep, audio's still working. I've got so many refs up over my normal stream overlay that it's just every once in a while I get a little paranoid that like, uh-oh, have my like dropped entirely? But no. These are interesting shoes. I think the white parts are, and I'm also getting like a little bit of feedback on it, which is on my mic. Sorry. Trying to sort out what's happening with that. Interesting shoes. I think the white parts are center top and not like the back, I believe. Then it's kind of got like a little flare out. Kind of matches the skirt a little bit, actually. That's not a bad rhythm. Not completely. I could probably do a little better on how I'm doing that, but we'll leave it alone for now. There we go. Yeah, let's make this a little less steep too. That'll probably do. I don't want to overthink the shoes. Not really the focal point. Silhouette? Okay, sure. We got this. I feel like that needs to be more like this. Nope, that also doesn't seem right. May just be that that curve needs to be hitting this lower, or perhaps the skirt needs to be hitting a little higher. Because this indent feels like it's at the wrong place. Like maybe that. The shirt's motion's feeling a little weird. If it had a rim, would it be moving like that? Is that sort of the angle that it would catch in? If that's the case, then that's probably fine as it is. Okay, then we can get back up here to more of the cardigan. Okay, still got my cardigan ref, although I think we've got enough going on here that hopefully we won't need it so much. Ah, okay, that's why that looked like it's like pinched up. It's because I did the wrong angle on this curve. The angle of curves leading up to edges shapes a lot of our like perception of their 3D volume. I'm learning more and more about that every time I mess one up. Wish I was joking, but I mess them up like constantly. But that is the way to get better at it, so you know, I guess I can't complain that much. Let's see. Now from this angle, yeah, there we go. Like a little bit of a wrinkle in it. Makes sense from the arm, I think. Let's see, and then once again, Kind of pinchy on the top and baggy on the bottom with these. Although the amount of baggy is going to be a little bit varied because I don't want to just tangent into that one, or else it's going to look like one solid object, and that's bad. Try to undercut it with like a curve here, but I don't think that's actually going to do me any favors, really. This looks kind of jarring out of place itself. Ooh, I'm gonna drink some water real quick. I just like had a woozy, lightheaded moment for a second. I am so tired of the stinking heat. So tired of it. Oh, nope, that was the wrong button. That'll work. Okay. Gonna arc the shirt out a little bit. Not like a ton, though. It shouldn't really be arcing in there is the point. I just don't want to tangent it with this sleeve again. And this sleeve is just in, like, the worst place for causing tangents. Hopefully that'll be better. How are we looking without the silhouette? Pretty confident. But we still need a little more of this part of the cardigan over here. Won't be much of it, but there still needs to be some of it. Even if we're at a 3/4-ish view, but not super 3/4. And in any case, this still needs to be coming out from under the sleeve somewhere in order to like arc around. Even if it's ultimately going to like wrap around the edge of what we can see. Just sort of get absorbed by that. I think the bigger thing is I kind of want an edge that arcs in more because that feels a little more dynamic. The sleeve again! Tangent to everything. There we go. Now it'll be a little clearer that this is like the nice raised bordery bit that would have maybe buttons. This character, it technically doesn't have buttons, but I may take the artistic liberty of adding a few buttons just for like the sake of clarity in this particular pose. Yeah. I'm trying to chill it with the wrinkle lines where they aren't necessary. I like me some wrinkle lines. Oh, we got ourselves a hand! Woo! We got a hand! Okay, let's get back to our brush. Oh, hold on. Not thinking about the angle well. Like that. Thumb's going to be below, that's fine. There'll be a pinky finger in there somewhere. We'll probably have to rework some of the creases to fit around the fingers, but that's okay, even though I'm still a little sad because I liked those creases. I thought they were interesting and dynamic. Let's see. And the second one's always so much harder to get the curvature on for some reason. I guess because it's being like contrasted with the first one. That's a little better. I feel like this one we're going to be able to see more of the top though than the other one. From the angle, hold on, zooming back out, feels too big. Okay, now we've got these folds, which I'm sad to see go, but they need to. Yeah, maybe I need to chill on the arc of this one. The arc of the finger. Clear some of this out. Nope, I still want that line. But everything past this point, let's clear out. Because it's going to be immediately obscured by another one. Oops. Then probably rinse and repeat. We can like make this one a little bigger as a middle finger. That's what it is. But then this one's going to have to steal some of its thunder again, like right away. And we can like separate them out a little bit. But then again, undersides of fingers can be hard to draw, so it's tempting to not do that. Yeah, that's already feeling off. Let's do it without the arm notes. Just, yeah, no, holy cow, that finger's ew. Go away. Jeez. Ew. Feeling a little off the hand game today. Let's put this one away for now. Let's look at the other one. Let's see. I guess it's gonna like fold more in, so it's really gonna be more wrist. Ah, rats. Hoping I could save myself with this one. But no dice. The angle of it's gonna be a little weird too, unless I've got like... Hold on. There we go, that's getting more like it. I think color and value are going to do a lot to help this part be readable. Doing what I can with the line work. Technically all problems are solvable with line work, but some of them are much more easily solved with other ways. And just because it can be solved with line work does not mean I have the artistic aptitude to do that yet. Okay, hold on. I need to sort out the other leg. I keep thinking there's frog feet down there, and I'm like, no, no, there's not. And I like the shirt design. I knew that would happen. Don't worry, we'll go over this in white once the shirt's done. Wait, hold on, that's off center. This part should be more here. And this part isn't even following the physics of the shirt anyway, so we may as well just like leave it be. Slightly softer. The arc on these is a little too harsh. There we go. I'm just thinking like the arc of like the top 2 or 3 might be visible in here. Of course, we're gonna have to fix the hands still, so not a given. Ah, okay, maybe what I need to do with this. Problem is I know what I need to do with it in 3D space. It's translating that to 2D that is a challenge. I think that's better though. Yeah. Okay, let's do the other leg before it gets away from us. And we've got these socks, which I know I'm playing a little fast and loose with the cuff. And by, adding a cuff at all, but even so. How did the knees on these 2 silhouetted legs end up so different? That's not right. Does explain some weirdness about her leg looking a little squatty on the side, which is fine, but a little bizarre. Somewhat symmetrical knees, not ideal, but I think it actually does make sense for what we're doing. Let's see. Okay, we're going to keep on working with this, and then we got sock, and then we've got these interesting shoes again. Let's borrow the redraw vector line so we can redraw just from here. Mark that out a little more. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Stop going dead silent on this, but like, there's not that much to commentate for this part. I'm drawing the shoe basically as I see it. Trying to keep it simple so it's not overly distracting. Because frankly, I think both of those are a little too big for the legs they're connected to. Actually, this leg's just too narrow. Well, we'll have some tweaking to do on proportions and stuff, but I want to at least be... Whoops, that's the rotate, not the scale. Always get that wrong. But let's work on this a little bit. Got kind of a rounder face shape. And we can kind of 3/4 view it a little bit. Okay, well, personally, good point of going over that 3 times was to get the loop that I didn't even fully get, so, like, sure, whatever. Got fairly round ears. And then looks to be a fade on this side we can work with. And hairline, somewhere around there. We're still cartooning it, so like we're not keeping hyper strict on proportions right now. I could have sworn there was overlap there. What's happening when I'm erasing those lines, by the way, is the way my erase works is it erases up to an intersection. So you can see it stopped where that crossbar was and stopped again and again. But the problem is if you've got two that look like they're at an intersection, but they're not quite, it like technically that overlaps, but like not enough to cut it off. Now it does. But like this little bit, sometimes yes, sometimes no. So like I'm catching ones where I think they're connected and it's just zipping the whole line out is basically what has been happening there. So I need to be a little more concrete about those connections. Something good to know. One exception in this style looks like a fairly pointed bottom nose from the angle. I know to some extent it's just style, but I'm trying to read into it as best as I can. To try to maintain some things. And because, you know, style's complicated, I don't want to have to reinvent stuff. I don't. Y'all probably know by now that I don't have the most consistent like face and eye designs. For example, this head is too small. And the arms are probably too buff, but like I think that's fine. We'll make the head bigger. I'm actually going to add a little. Well, no, we should probably. Let's make the head bigger first. And then we'll get the hair on there. Looks so cartoony. I'm still not quite nailing head shapes, and I'm aware of that. Right, even like a little more. Because there's so little chin on this, the way I'm drawing it, that it looks more like a child's head, so I'm hoping the hair is going to help with that. We can really lean into the hair flick on the top if we want. That'd be fun. Give it some volume. That one's smaller, that one's less important. Bigger thing is we also need to be catching. I mean, that fade's basically going to stay as it is, but this part is going to have a little more. You know, I want that one. It's these ones that we're going to lose from that. And a little up in the face. And like, I'm going to arc it down a little bit, I think. Okay. These big waves are a little different from what I normally do, so I don't know. I don't necessarily have like a set way to do curly hair either. I tend to go more frizzy, and this one seems to be like longer, smoother curls. So like, I'm not gonna go too crazy on that. I feel like if we want this big hair though, then I need to go bigger on this piece, which would probably be a little over the top. Maybe we chill a little bit on this one. Honestly, part of the problem I think is that this one, there we go. Now it's sticking more with the edge of the head, and I think that'll be a little more believable. Oh boy. Temporary eyebrows already causing me trouble. I realize this also kind of violates the breeze that the cardigan's been following, but I'm okay with that. I'm going to go ahead and hide the silhouette so that we're just dealing with the actual lines, and now we can take a look at it from this view and see what we can do. Head still feels too small, actually, which is really funny. Because the hair doesn't necessarily, except for the little bit on top of the head. Oh, hey, May, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. We're starting on art fight attacks. I'm getting head proportions super wrong. We're going to have to fix the line weight at this point, but... it's been fun, but what's up with you? Where are my fancy vector pens? Oh, it is this one. It's just way too scrolled. There we go. Testing line width. We'll narrow it by like 3. Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm Team Vampire too. Although my problem is like almost everyone that I want to attack ended up joining Team Vampire, so I may have to turn traitor just so that we can actually have like some fun back and forth. I'm gonna have to fix so many of these lines. The line with the Just tool has issues. Also, these eyes always turn into a Lenny face whenever I try to draw it, and that's not what I want, but like, it happens. Yeah. The race has been basically deadlocked since the start. The werewolves have had about a 20,000 point lead. The lead was the same when there were like 900,000 entries and when there were over 5 million. Not entries, but points. But like it's been a very consistent difference between the two teams. It's really funky. Cheapers. I need to fix the shoes and the hand. Okay, I'm gonna write this down. Shoes and base lines. Hair, just so I don't get too sidetracked. I'm gonna add like a little bit of point to this chin, just a little bit, because it's ending up a tiny bit too baby-faced looking. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not really conveying the character's age. Yeah, the head also might be too big now. Oh, please do. Yeah, let me crack open the Discord. Always love to see what people are working on. Going a fade is so hard. Mind if I show these on the stream? Oh, dang. I like the line quality on this. I'm so bad at like managing line weight. I basically just wing it. Thank you. Like the hair, the borders versus the actual hair density and like the kind of smooth shading. This really pops. And the eye glints. Oh, dang. I like this one a lot. Even if it's a work in progress. Like the line quality is solid. Oh man, these are fun. Well, I like the hair design on this one. I end up going like more simple cartooned hair as opposed to like the more separate like pieces. Something I want to work on because this has really good layering. Of course, that's something I want to work on with my actual real life hair too, not just drawing it. So like, a challenge for me all around. You've got an interesting like translucent lines that you go for on these. That's not a bad idea. I have to experiment with something like that. Man, faces, for the record, are always what I've struggled with the most, which is not like a unique thing or a surprise or anything. Faces are complicated, but the challenge for me, like, if I sit there long enough, I can try to draw not a naturalistic, but a realish looking face. The hardest part is getting like a cartoon simplified face that still looks believable. I like this one. You've got enough detail in the face shape that it doesn't just look like a blob, but and like the eye placement's right and the shadows are there, but there's not too much going on. I'm impressed. But yeah, no, you've got. I mean, you can tell. I can see why the hair gets a lot of compliments, both for the style and because you've kind of set it up as the focal point. It has a lot more detail than like the outfit, a lot more line, like density of lines and density of colors than some of the other parts. Like it makes sense that it's going to draw the attention on at least this character specifically. Like even with the bold blue as part of the outfit, the like highlights contrasting with the hair here, you've got so much going on. It's definitely going to draw people's eye, which is cool. I gotta get back on the art fight grind. I may have to like play a little more loosey goosey with the eyes and hair. And if this is 3/4 view, let's like do a little bit of scooting, and then this whole business. Scooting. I'm probably gonna regret that scooting. I feel like I've over scooted. Mayhaps just a oh right. Well, if we no, because if we shift the ear, it's gonna mess with the neck. Well, I'll keep tweaking the stinking face. Honestly, that's fair. And whereas I tend to like the thing I over detail is like fabric folds because I like fabric. This one we tried to keep it fairly simple and honest to the ref, but like I like drawing fabric a lot, and so I get way too in on it on the fabric folds. Getting away from that finger. This is like almost passable if it isn't for the finger closest to the camera, and like the wrist angle's a little off. Oops. Oh, I still want that line. Boopy-doopy-doo. Why it always got to be this one? I guess I could just copy the existing finger and like move it closer, but I feel like that's A, going to be noticeable, and B, not going to be in the right perspective for it anyway. We can get some fabric folds going in here just because there'd have to be with the fingers like grabbing onto it like this. Do. Too curved, too squatty on this one still. Looks like it's looking like the pinky finger. I know, hold on, I want just free transform for that. Okay, so there's some issues with using free transform for that. But still, could have been worse. Probably should have still rotated it though. Well, maybe just chilling on that even would be better. Kind of hover handing and not really gripping the fabric. Also, the hand's more detailed than everything else, so maybe I just need to like chill a little bit on the detail for it too, and it will be better. Although, I think some of that's still important detail. That's fair enough. I like never start with the head. That might be my problem. I just had a brief moment where I was afraid I was on the wrong layer, but we're all good. Too many buttonholes for a cardigan. Keep these a little more loose. Oh yeah, there we go. We can even have the next button like flipping over the edge a little bit. Usually what they end up doing anyway. Unnecessary level of detail on that too. And then stinking the leg width problem. This shoe design has been a challenge for me to try to translate into this style. I need to work on consistency there a little bit. Okay. We got the silhouette still. If we see this without the lines, silhouette seems so much lankier. I guess the sort of skirt is helping with that, or causing that rather. And then the flare of the cardigan obviously adds more width. We can probably chill out a little bit on some of this shoulder too. Nope. A slightly softer curve. I should just go with one of these that's like good enough. This does make me miss the days of my more lineless art style. The workflow on it was awful, but it was neat. Okay, adjust line width. I'm going to narrow it by just 1 instead of 3 this time. Let's see if we can't get it to just chill a little bit. Oh, okay, you're using the linear burn for those. Okay, cool. An interesting style choice for it. I've been trying to make a point of practicing line quality for all the good it's doing. But so like I've been trying to like keep my lines visible as a way to sort of force myself to care about them. Like this is actually going to show up in the finished project. You have to like not make it garbage. But not sure that's working super great still. Yeah, but I mean that makes sense. That makes sense for sketches. Keeps it fast and light and loose. Boopy-doopy-doo. Part of this issue is that the knees are not quite at the right. This knee needs to be lower, and I feel like the foot maybe needs to be smaller. Look at it overall. Yeah, the foot needs to be smaller. Not like a crazy amount, but a bit. But while the foot overall maybe needs to be smaller, I think that the bottom of the leg actually needs to be a little larger. Just so that it kind of matches the other one better. Let's see. I'm getting overly tweaky at like messing with little small details at this point, and that's usually a sign that I ought to like take a pause for a second and go back to big picture. Oh yeah, no line arts. No, I mean you're thinking the pit line art was great. I think line art in general is just one of those. It's probably the one where it's got the biggest, like, people don't like their own results with it because it's so technical compared to a lot of the other pieces that, like, it's easier to, like, self-judge on, like, quality as opposed to, like, relative quality within the piece. I feel like I'm speaking gibberish at this point, but I feel like people judge themselves harsher on line art than they do on the other pieces. Alright, where did Silhouette leave us? Why did I think that was the knee? This is clearly the knee. Well, I mean, I guess that's fair. In my mind, like, line art is just finished lines on any given art piece, and oftentimes really sketchy looking line art is... Yeah, like, that's the thing. Sometimes sketchy looking line art is actually better and looks cleaner and more professional. Like, if your only idea of line art is having, like, the perfectly, like, pretty smooth edges and, like, that doesn't really work on every art piece, I find, anyway. Like, I'm a big proponent of, like, sketchy line art. Which, I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong definition of it. But... Ugh, always with these. Add tangents. Okay, let's see. Man, how did... Oh. Duh. Okay, it needs to be pointing. That changes things a little bit. I'll come back and work on the socks later. Ah, okay, hold on. No, I need to fix the calf on this side too. Yeah, honestly, like, I kind of enjoy hands too. Like, occasionally they get frustrating, but there's a certain, like, there's an interest to them. Especially the thumbs are just fun. Like, I don't know, there's just so much you can do with these. Hands are fun. They are complicated when you're trying to get them to look a specific way, though, at times. I have not even had the occasion to need to draw feet. Like, at least not without shoes and stuff. Granted, there's still a stinking pain with shoes. Like, even trying to reduce them to base components, they get all, like, jumbled up, complicated, and I don't like them. Oh! I love ears because it's basically a free space. Like, put all your energy into the outer shape of it, and then you can just stinking, like, scribble or do whatever, or just put whatever lines in there. Like, anything turns into an ear. You can make an ear and put any letter in it, and it will register as an ear for people, at least in cartoony styles. Like, boom. Ear. T. Still looks like an ear. J, even more so. I don't know. X. I've seen styles that do that. L's kind of a hard one, but you could make it work. And just a plain line. An O. Like, I don't know. I feel like the important part of the ear is the outside. And, like, lining it up with the face is hard. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a pain. But, like, once you've got that, the inside, you can just, like... I think of them as, like, a free space. But if you're trying to draw more naturalistic ones, or, like, fit a specific style, then they get a lot more complicated, yes. Don't lose heart on the ears. I'm sure they'll come around. Let's see. I think I'm going to not give this sock silhouette after all. I do need to make sure I get the curvature right relative to the angle of this foot, which is hard because this one's kind of twisting. Whereas this one's not. And then the shoes are kind of a little too freeform still. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Whoops, let's see. Dang, that one looks so good though. I love the shade, like the blush / shading under the eyes. Always looks solid. Yeah, I don't know, these ears fit well. And Kid Icarus, I've been meaning to play that game for like 10 years. I just never have gotten the time to do it. Oh heck yeah, logo art. Love logo art. So, I guess for context I should say before I was doing digital art, my like hobby, like I really was into calligraphy, like a lot. So like I love opportunities to draw letters. This has interesting curvature to it. I'm just like sketching it out right now, but yeah, I mean that's stinking rough. You'd want this line to be parallel with the other two and all that jazz. Yeah, there's a lot of depth going on in that one. But still, that's fun. Okay, now let's think about the leg again, but not a fan of it. It was my favorite thing to do in art class. I stinking adored calligraphy. Yeah, my handwriting was garbage. I used calligraphy to improve it. I was like, I'm gonna intentionally try to apply this stuff because it just when my natural handwriting used to be really bad. Digitally, it's still not great. Um, although it's gotten better in the last year. Yeah, I had lots of. To be fair, I sort of get to cheat by having a lot of practice because I never used a computer to take notes in school. It was all notebook paper all the time. And man, what am I doing with this leg? There's so much that's just like off with it. Stinking back leg. No. Okay. Yeah, it meant I had a lot of time to like practice speed writing. Yeah, I think most people's just like quick note taking handwriting is bad. There's a few people who are just like amazing at it, but most folks are not. Okay, let's. I want to work on the face a little more. I always start out with a really cartoony face and then like get unsatisfied with it and like slowly shift to a more realistic one. Still cartoony, but like less. And like I need to just stinking pick a style at the start and stick with it. This has been doing this too much lately. Because my quick writing digitally is the worst. Especially with pressure. Jeepers. It's not good. Oh yeah. Oh, the thing that caught me for a long time, and this was so dumb, but like normally skills don't improve overnight, but sometimes there's one revelation that absolutely does it. And like I don't know, when I was in kindergarten, when you're like a little kid, they teach you with this writing paper that's like structured like this, and then it's got like a second section and like so on. And you're like writing letters like, okay, G, that goes under there, H goes like that, A, and so on. Um, but like no one told me when we got to normal notebook paper that looks like this that you're not still supposed to use the full line for it. So like I was going over here like G and then H and then A or whatever, and then on the next line I'm like, okay, T, J or whatever, L, and like so it meant my letters were just constantly like all the way max size on the line and like running over them, and it until someone finally told me like, you don't have to go to the top and bottom, and it was a stinking revelation. It's like, oh, you mean I can just do this and it doesn't destroy the entire line below it anymore? I was so frustrated that no one ever mentioned that to me. Oh yeah, digital art signatures are always stinking hard. Yeah. Like the sketches though. But like yeah, no, it gets I mean, stinking even when I'm doing my like this one. Granted, I've made it complicated because the arc of the P and the H have to kind of match, which they don't in that. But like even this is a stinking mess. Actually, I should probably keep this one. I'm gonna need a signature for it at some point. It's supposed to look like a bow firing an arrow, but like trying to get the arc of the P and the H to work well together is so stinking complicated. Yeah, yeah. Nope. See, my own stinking signature shouldn't be this hard. Okay. Oh yeah, it is. I don't know. I know lots of people who write with just like full block letters where like their handwriting is just technically always caps lock. um, and you're just like, oh well, okay. I actually had a teacher who'd get mad at people who did that, and they would like grade you as misspelling the words. If you did like had a handwriting style like that, and I was like, that's not fair for people who just write that way. Okay. Stinking. Yeah. That one looks pretty good. We've got one cap. I like one cap, no cap, as I'm sure no one on Twitch would ever say. But yeah, it's a struggle. I assume handwriting's kind of like an eternal struggle. Like it's just something you have to keep practicing over time. It was better before. Put it back. I think trying to do like figuring out online usernames and the spelling thereof, like, is an eternal thing that everyone looks back and they're just like, why did I do that? Why did I do it that way? No one ever seems happy with with their past choices on those. Well, maybe that's the problem. You got like overexposure to English. It's like, no, no more. My hands must rebel. I need to finish that. My brain keeps interpreting it as a snake eye. Yeah, eyes also feel like a tiny bit too big, even if that's kind of authentic as well. I don't know. Ah, no, I still want the nose. Indeed. The Great Hand Rebellion. No more literature, say the hands. You've given us writer's cramp. Papers now. I need to stop like messing around with the face and just like move on a little bit, but I had such good momentum going for a while, and I can tell that it's sort of faded a little bit. There. Oh boy, no, no, no. Oh, it feels like the hair should be blowing behind her at this point, but like that would kind of interfere with the fade a little bit. We could sort of like catch it back here. Oh, worse still? Oh no. Oh dang. Whoops, that's my entire stream overlay I just moved. That was not the thing I was trying to click. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, when you're animating it like that, it's fine. At least it's not like wibble wobbling every frame. Like, look, I'm not gonna lie to you and say it's like amazingly beautiful handwriting or anything, but I have definitely seen worse. Why Ray is a horrible human being. Yeah, no, I mean like I can read this, but like I have seen real bad. I've seen, well, I have a family member who's a doctor, so like, you know. Although actually her handwriting's like really good, and she had to like practice bad handwriting in order to be fast enough for the doctor notes. So sometimes bad handwriting is actually a plus. Hmm. I have to keep working on the hair. It's at the wrong angle now that I've moved the face angle. Yeah, the faster is definitely worse with handwriting. I have the bad habit of just like not choosing good surfaces to write on, and that's less of an issue with digital art, but like with just like a pencil, I will be just like writing in my lap. And that does not do good things for your handwriting, let me tell you. Not at all. Like I can see in my night journal and pinpoint which days I was like writing on my nightstand and which days I wasn't. Just like immediately from the handwriting. Oh, yep, that's always the worst writing. I've done it. Sometimes you have to do it, but like the quality is not going to look good. Ooh, yeah, that. Actually, I wasn't walking, but I was having to write just like in my hand or draw like just holding the sketchbook in my arms because I was doing some drawings at the park and a stinking heron dropped by, and I was like, okay, I have to draw this. But like the heron was moving, and so I had to like follow it. It was bad. Oh yeah, stinking birthday card in the car ride. That might be winner for worst. Because like you know that you're like it has to look good. Like there's additional pressure for that to have quality, and you're in a rush. Oh no. Yeah, birthday card in a car ride is the best way to make it look like you can't spell your own name. I gotta fix the I gotta fix the shoes, then we'll come back to the hand, then we'll deal with the face. I need to mix up what I'm working on. Step one of this is I'm too zoomed in. That's fine. Come on, there we go. There's a reasonable amount. I can extend it. And then I'm going to just pop those on their own layer. Shoe notes. Dunk that to be less visible. Bring the silhouette back, and let's maybe have another go at the shoes. Actually, hold up. This frees me up to like try to fix this leg a little bit too. Ah, yep. Yep, trying to walk definitely messes with all of that. Okay. Okay, so our character ref here, these are the shoes we're going off of. This is our art fight attack. So I'm trying to translate these into I'm not entirely sure what type of shoes that are. Hmm. I'm trying to translate that into something that is sort of recognizable, but still like true to the original. Hmm. Like Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. I'll try to that's a good point. Less long on that. Why do you have to take wet notes? Let's try that shorter. That's a good thought. I always overdo like stinking foot and shoe length in these. Oh, yep, that would do it. Did not even think about that, like writing being an important component of that, but it totally would be, wouldn't it? Actually, a little more arced in, maybe. Not right. Aiming for like a more reasonable size, which makes these cups feel like way too big. I'm gonna put that away. And maybe let's lose the silhouette for now and just see if we can't make a shoe. Doesn't even need to be anything crazy, just like a functional shoe. Feet, why? And then these shoes have socks, of course. So I'm gonna need to make sure I get the angle on those right too. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. There's so many different styles within Chibi at this point, and they're all really cute, or at least most of them are. They all have their own charms. Wait, hold on, I'm starting to think of this shoe as slightly 3/4 E-view more than just head-on. And that's making me sort of change how I think about this piece. Let that go. I may just have to leave it as is. Or no, I know that this at least goes to the end. We can tweak that. Love to know what shoes the original artist was thinking of when they were designing these. I'm genuinely curious what like their vision of it was. Okay. Like the whole angle on that leg has ended up slightly wrong. I wonder if I can find. Unfortunately, I think I already closed. I mean, yeah, but there's even so many different types of tennis shoes now. Like, you have everything from like Converse to like fancy like hyper fluff over performance things. Um. Can I find the reference that I used for this? I'm not sure that I can. I probably can't. Okay. Give me just a second. I'll be right back. I gotta take a pause to dig that out, and then we'll jump back on here. Be back in a moment. Aha, I am back. Howdys and salutations once again. Drawn tennies in that style with Chibi before, and it just okay, then that may be the case. Yeah, no, I can believe that. And I may have to rework the shoes a little bit next time and try to incorporate more of a tennis shoe feel into them. Let's see. That may be something, because I realized it's already 10 o'clock, which I did not realize. I thought it was still 9. This stream has absolutely flown by. Okay. Crack open the silhouette real quick and see if I can't do a little bit of... because I think I've got my ref pulled back up for this. So I reckon I might be able to get this leg looking a little more reasonable. Part of it is I think we may have brought this in like a little bit too tightly, so let's angle it out a little more. Give ourselves a little more leg space. Because I remember even when I was drawing that, like I was like, oh, it's narrower than the silhouette. But then I just didn't fix it for some reason. Ah, okay, let me pull it up. Ah, yep, no, I see what you mean. Ah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so fun to see people's art evolution over time, because it's so often you just see like their current like pro and skilled pieces, and you don't get to see like all the journey that led to that point. Because I would never guess that this was the same artist who was creating works like even this sketch or like this finished piece or like this one. Like it's incredible to see the progress. But also I totally see what you mean about the shoes. Like, yeah. Yep, no, you're right. That's abstracted in that way. Interesting. I guess I'm just not accustomed to the tongue of the shoe like being taller than the rest of it. But with certain shoes, that's totally the case. Okay, well then I may have another pair that I can base this on a little more directly. Okay. Oh. More like that. And I've just not been able to cut off my lines lately. What's going on with that tonight? Okay. I'll go with like slightly smaller, flatter feet. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's true. Like Converse. Yeah. And I haven't worn a lot of Converse, and the only ones I did were the high tops. So like, and like my school had a uniform, so no one could wear them. So like, I realized they're like the most commonly drawn sneaker tennis shoe type thing. And like, but it took me a long time to even recognize them in art at all because I didn't realize like, oh, that's not just generic, like the sedan equivalent, like what a basic sedan car is when people draw cars, and then that became the shoe. I was just like, oh, it's just the placeholder shoe shape, but no, it's like an actual shoe. I don't think that was the most coherent sentence. I'm running off of a shockingly small amount of sleep for someone who had to go to a stinking day job this morning and was dumb enough to stay up super late. So toe box really does need to be a little wider on this. That's the wrong brush. Oh, that looked too big. Alright, then yeah, I may convert these into something a little more reasonable. Yeah. The only thing that got me is this sort of like bit at the top looks a lot like, because I've drawn a lot of D&D characters, and oftentimes you'll see like leather boots stylized by just folding it over at the top with those kinds of characters. And so I was like, what is this fold over tennis shoe? And I was trying for the life of me to like figure out how to design that. And maybe that is what it is, but I mean, yeah, you know, it could be a lot of things. I Actually, I'll be completely honest. This shoe isn't even like that far off from the color of shoes that I actually wear. So maybe I'll like lean into just using one of those as a ref, like a little bit more of a slide on. Just like do it like that. Well, although this should probably be more front view than, well, it could be a little side view, but not quite that side view. Yeah, so my brain was just like folded leather. Oh no, complicated shoes. And maybe I'll learn that that is what it's supposed to be, but I think I just said that. We'll go with this for now. Something a little simpler, still recognizably shoey. Yeah, and I'd totally believe if that was the case. Oh? Ooh. Well, we'll see. A revelation? Boots, but like sneakers? Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, and with the angle of like the feet in this particular style, it's like a little bit like it could be going higher up on the leg than it looks like it is. Like there's a certain amount of interpretation going on with that. Like there's a lot of options there. Basically, we've got like a certain amount of artistic freedom to go with that. And to be fair, I'm a fan of the like comfortable footwear even if you're like in fancier attire as sort of a trope. And they didn't have like clothing restrictions on their art fight page, so like I'm not opposed to just even if they're not quite sneakers, making them sneakers. Yeah. I feel like it still needs like a little bit of that going on. Well, we can have it sort of vanish out of view, but whoops, that wasn't right. Well, if they drop by and stream again at some point, I can ask them about the shoes too. They were here a couple days ago, so. And a lot of people out and about getting ready for Art Fight, checking out other art streamers. So, it's a good season to be streaming art, actually. Art Fight's always good for that. It feels like it needs something on it. There we go. Socks. Which again, I'm just gonna kind of play fast and loose with the socks. They're not really like a critical focal point. Leave them kind of sketchy. How does my brain like always get messed up on the perspective of this leg once I zoom back out? Like I don't know what it is about it that seems off. Maybe it needs to like arc in a tiny bit more. Whoa, not like. Let's maybe chill for a second, Eraser. No, because then it looks more. Well, it is kind of side view. Whatever. It's getting late. There's some stuff we're just gonna have to revisit on the next stream, unfortunately. Like the Nightmare Finger. The other ones are like, they're not great, and they're probably what's setting it up for failure, but I still can't figure out why this one in particular is just turning out so bad. Oh yeah, just like checking out on Artfight. There's plenty of good characters out there. I'm trying to focus on like folks I've at least like run into on Twitch or encountered somewhere before over random, but like, yeah. Hey, I mean, I didn't even have a character sheet submitted until like week 3 of last year, so you're doing fine on timing. I guarantee you're not the only person who hasn't drawn anything yet. I need a slightly bigger eraser. Like, not huge, but a little bigger. I like the idea that you might actually have a like art fight attack after the course of 3 years, and not a moment sooner. Just dropping that OC right at the last moment. Although technically the event ends at like noon on the last day, or like the following day. I think it's like noon on August 1st or something, so make sure you don't submit it too soon and accidentally get fan art. You wouldn't want that. Undermine all your hard work so far. Okay, it's not a great hand, but it's an okay hand. Man, this stream started out feeling so much more confident about the proportions, and it's just gone off the stinking rails. Not been great. Okay, hold on. I need to, like... I'm gonna put the silhouette away for starters, because it's, like, tiny face problem. Mainly because I was drawing the head to fit this, not the whole hair underneath it. Let's do a lot like what we did with the shoe. And just bring this away for a moment into its own layer. Head notes. And put that away for a moment. And then you can probably put these away. We've got decent shoe solution. The hand is good enough. Baselines and hair are what we're working on now. And I think it's pretty obvious that they're not ready yet with the current design. Let's see. was not expecting that transparency to be there. Oh. Oh, it's because it got cut on the silhouette cup. Uh-oh. Hold on, does that mean I accidentally just, like, proper deleted the old face? I don't want to do that. I cut the wrong thing. Or did I not? No, I totally did. Or wait, no. Yeah, okay, hold on. Line, let's try this again. Getting late and I'm making dumb mistakes. Cut the lines layer. Face notes. Drop that down here and hide it. Okay. Good. And just detonate that. Cool. And now on the line work layer, more what I was expecting. Cool. And the neck on this one being... Oh, okay. Oh, really? Looking at the actual ref, the neck connects further back here. I think that's probably what's throwing a lot of my neck designs off in general, is I'm trying to connect them too much in the front view neck slot and not where they'd actually be. Interesting. What would Salt's eye color be? That is a fair question. Honestly, I think she would have brown eyes. I think it's very fitting with her character that, like, she's kind of, like, she's not, like, a chosen one or any, like, magical thing. She's just supposed to be a fairly down-to-earth, typical plain person who happens to go out there and cause fun problems. And do her thing. See, I feel like brown eyes for her. Hypothetically. Boo-doo-doo. Thank you. Oh, hey, Galactic! What timing? How are you doing? And thank you for the raid, of course. And thanks for the follow, Shadow. But also, I guess, Galactic, technically spoilers. You've stumbled on at a good moment. Because we're trying to draw Pandora right now. Welcome. Well, thank you for dropping by. Yeah, pretty fortunate timing. Oh, actually, perfect opportunity. We were debating what type of shoes are these, because we were trying to decide if they were more like Converse or sneakers or like what exactly the style was, because they look cool. We're just trying to like make sure we're matching the vibe. Thanks. Yeah, I just need to sort out the face a little better. Sneakers, but simpler. Okay, cool. Then May, that means you were absolutely right. Thank you. Good call on that. I think we were going for kind of a sneakersy feel with them, so we can tweak that. Yeah, nope, you were right. You were right. My sinking D&D NPC trained brain was like, they must be like leather boots or something. Nope. Need to update my like understanding of fashion to not the 13th century. That is made doubly worse because I studied medieval history in school, so my understanding of clothing really is like straight up lost in the 1200s. Yeah, Galactic is. I imagine that she's not running around in like medieval Europe or something. Hold on. That's another thing that's fun about Art Fight, is I'm forced to like learn outfits and how to draw things that I've never ever drawn my own characters. I ought to do like modern AU outfits or something for them at some point, just to like mix it up. Let's see. I mean, look, I don't mind it not being a surprise. I've never been like the keenest on surprises anyway. So if you want to see, like, by all means, hang out. But also, like, seriously, thank you. Thanks for pointing people my way. It's always fun to have more people and see more folks in here and get to share all the art. Like, Art Fight's a great time for all this stuff because everyone's in like an art sharing mood. Going for a slightly less cartoony face style because we tried to go like not realistic on the clothes, but like we've actually got wrinkles and stuff. So let's try to get like a little more going with the face. I may have over disassembled this ear. That's okay. Let's see. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I am thinking, just to pause for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, like Art Fight, I don't know if I just like submit low point value pieces or something, but like the scores in Art Fight are ridiculous for day 3, both team being over 5.5 million points. I kind of wish they had just. I'm curious, how many just total pieces have been submitted? Like not the points, but how many actual like art pieces have been done? Because this has got to be like the last art piece I submitted got 10 points. And granted, it was like a little simple character, so there's ways to get higher scoring pieces, but even if every piece is getting 100 points, that's still, like, what, 50,000 per team? Like, this event, it just boggles me how big it is every time. It's really fun. Oh. I've gone and overthought it again. Okay, come on, there we go. Just gotta keep going until I get the perfect line. Let's see, okay, hold on, just real quick. Above and below, below is a little taller than above. I can probably, like, move some of this stuff down just a hair. Try to rebalance that just the tiniest bit. There. Okay, then let's see about having another go at this face, but a little bit more realistic this time. Hairline more there. So that means that the fade's going to be more like that, and then we'll deal with like actual hair and like a little bit of volume. I feel like, nope, I've got the angle on that way too high for that. Hold on, let's. If we're like arcing here, then hairlines are always so complicated. That'll do. I do feel like kind of leaning into that one specifically. I feel like that's fun. That's like too harsh of a swing compared to everything else on this one. Do I use the align with tool again? Do I risk it? It always seems to have adverse effects. We'll try it with that. Keep that one kind of simple. Let's see. And we can try to be true to this eye shape, but also stick with the slightly more like realistic-ish proportions that I'm trying to capture on this. So let's try to actually do that a little bit. Well, now she just looks stinking miserable. Yeah, no, maybe that's leaning into it a little too much. Remembering eye positioning. This is kind of a small mouth. We'll deal with that one second. Let's get the eye that's more visible sorted out first. That's the one that's going to end up being more critical. That's perhaps a little too terrified of a look. It's amazing how much impact the just like little nuances of facial features have on like the overall perception of like the expression, like someone's mood. Like it makes sense given that we communicate through like facial expressions and talking and stuff. But like it's still fascinating to me how much impact it can have on like the mood of an art piece, like compared to some of the other things. That's not to say like the position of arms and legs and stuff have no impact, but like you can just move a pupil a tiny bit over and it can change everything, or like have it looking downwards rather than upwards. Keepers, we're gonna have to tweak that a little bit, mainly because I think the mouth is too small. Like it's stylized, it's supposed to be small, but like let's aim for something a little larger on that. Okay, and then let's maybe not have the stinking opposite direction eye thing going. Okay. Move this over a bit. I feel like I maybe still got that pointed down a little too much. More like that. I'm gonna check my ref again just a little bit. Just thinking, thank you Pinterest for good pose references. And good face proportion references along with them. Alright, maybe I've got the eyes, like, rare to have the eyes too low. Like maybe, well, I shouldn't have erased my overall, like, head shape line. That was probably a mistake. And sort of recreate it. Yeah, okay, so, yeah, they may have been a little bit too low. But then the nose might also be a little bit too high. We'll just shift some stuff around. One of the big perks of digital art is that you can just move stuff rather than having to redraw it like an inch over. Or a few millimeters over, as the case sometimes is, where you're just like, oh man, really? And also shift the entire head down just like a bit. There we go, that's better. I'll have to do a little cleanup, of course, but... Put this in. Or at least angle it more like this. Yeah, there we go. And actually, we're lining up pretty well with the silhouette at this point, which is funny how that works out. Perhaps I actually did have it figured out at the start. Okay. Oops, I guess that's true. We could try having pupils. I always, like, I'm never consistent with how I draw eyes. It's really terrible, probably, but like, I don't. Then again, like, eyes are one of the things that you can be in one art style and still vary the eyes a ton between your characters, and it won't look out of place. As opposed to like other things where if you're varying how you're drawing hands an awful lot, it looks, I don't know, people notice more. Although it's still not completely in art styles, but like you can vary eyes an awful lot because human eyes actually vary an awful lot. Like, this is not the one we're going to go for, but it's an option technically. One thing I may check. Okay. Maybe we could lean into bigger bigger facial features in general here, and that would actually kind of work still. Let's try something. Yeah, we're 3/4, but I'm not saying like bug-eyed, but we've got some options here, though. Oh, right. Vectors. Oops. We're going to cheese that a little bit while we're testing, and then if it works out well, we can adjust it. Damn it. So many ways to abstract a face, and they all fighting me. I've done so many eye studies, and yet I feel like I still need to do so many more. I'm going to shrink the eyes a little bit, but not like a ton. Same with this. As much as we were going to bigger features, they don't need to be too much bigger. Or maybe they do. I don't know. No. Nope. Come on. Let's get the lines where we're actually trying to draw them. No, I don't even know where I'm going with that mouth at this point. Dagnab faces. One of these days. I've spent so much time trying to practice them, but like, doesn't mean I can stylize them well and like actually make them fit anything else. So, yeah. Still, I think we're doing better than with the previous version. Well, actually, we're well, the face shape is better, I think, but like the actual face itself is remarkably similar still. I'm gonna actually just take a quick pause, dunk this out of the way as base notes 2. Wow. Hide that. And we'll have a fresh go on a basically blank slate. Done. No. Right. Let's see. Yeah, I know the perfect face. Let's see. I know exactly what face this character needs, 100%. Let's see. Any of y'all played Roblox lately? This stinking face was always ridiculous. But yeah, maybe not that one either. Just gonna put that one away. Now let's get our eraser back down to a reasonable size too before we go back. Okay. My face has got to be so complicated. And that'll allow me to put the mouth a little lower at least, which should help with the overall face shape proportion problem we were having. Let's see. I do want to keep to the like original eye shape a little more. I'm probably going to add eyebrows. There we go. I mean, not perfect, but better. At least good enough that I'd be confident saying, yeah, we can leave it there for now. If we want to make tweaks on day 2, then we certainly can. In the meantime, I'm going to finally put away all of these spare sketch layers. Oh my word. Let's see, line. I guess notes is what we're calling these. That's fine. We'll just leave them all out of the way. Got this layer here, which we can fill bucket the heck out of as a start. Whoops. One more. There we go. And then we'll have some fun with the colors and values and everything. But that probably won't be on this stream, because it's getting proper late for me. And while I thankfully don't have work tomorrow because it's a holiday, my neighborhood does have an event tomorrow that I'm helping with early in the morning. So I still have to wake up. No sleeping in on the 4th. Oh well. Okay, hold on. I know, yeah, there was the gap here. Pull this in a little bit. Okay, we can pop this behind the lines now. Got ourselves a silhouette, including a very funny button. And now, let's see, we decided, we were talking on the cardigan color. We weren't going to do, it wasn't 26, it was like the 30, I think. Yeah, the 34, which I think is what we've just base filled everything at, so that's fine. We'll get a little higher with some of these other ones. How's that on skin tone? I just hit the background, I can tell. We'll start with this one. If we need to lighten it, we can. Okay. And then some of these. The cardigan itself is dark. The shirt is... I'm going to go one lighter than the skin tone. I think will be reasonable for that. Let's see. No, cardigan itself is still dark. There we go. We'll have to do a little cleanup on this, but the fill tool makes it easy to sort of throw these down at least and start to get a feel for how you want the values to be. Oops. All right, that's skin. That should probably be the skin color, yeah? Yeah. There we go, that's better. Whoops. Actually, you know what? Let's make the shirt color a little bit lighter so that we get a little more contrast going, and we can just match it to the socks. That way we've got some slightly more consistent coloring going there. We'll keep this part simple and basic. I just heard my computer behind me like notify me that it's trying to update something. That's probably bad. And then for design consistency, I'll match the soles to this part. That's fine. Green of the shoes should probably match the cardigans. That's fine. But here we go. That needs to be much lighter too. No, we'll keep that a little more muted still. Okay. It's well, it's something. It's a start. I always, like, no matter how my line art's actually looking, like, by the time we're on, like, hour 2 or 3 of these, I'm always just like, I'm not happy with it anymore, I want to redo it, but I have to ignore that impulse, or else I will never finish anything. Why did I make 2 of these? I'm getting rid of this one. This can be our actual hue layer, which we can, for the most part, actually pull from here. Ourselves a pretty bold cardigan here. Always happy with that. And some shoes to match. I'm going to pull this slightly more reasonable green. And let's throw that down for our shirt. Got a nice balance. The socks. I may go for a slightly less saturated green for the cardigan. Like it might balance a little bit, a little differently. Let's try. More over here, maybe? Yeah, it's a little more muted. Not quite as much pop, but I think it'll fit better. At least I hope it will. Okay. I'm actually going to go for the lighter green for the button, just because I think that'll be some fun contrast. Even though the button itself is still really dark, so I'm going to have to update that. Whoops. If I go back to this layer, I can update the darkness or lightness of that button pretty easily. Just, whoops, we'll do that. Let me put this back. Boom, lighter button. Guess I ought to do that for all the buttons. To the extent that they show up. Okay. Skin tone, let's start by grabbing it and see how that goes. Because with the different value mixing, nope, that's actually working pretty well. Okay, cool. And the hair's got a nice orange to it. We'll see if we can maintain that. Yeah, okay, pretty well. Then let's see. I'm not going to mess with shadows and lighting today. Oh crud, have I been on the base values layer this whole time? No. No wonder it was working so well. Okay, hold on. There we go. No, let's go back to the hue layer. And we're filling this layer. There we go. That gives them a little more vibrance. Let's try this again. Probably going to mess with the colors more, though, so we'll see. We may need to go up a shade. Yeah, I think so. So we'll take this up one, and I think it'll match better. Come on. Slightly less contrast with the clothes, though, and the hair, but that's okay. Guess an important note would be to match this. The pupils. Go ahead and do that while I'm here. And then to go full bright for the actual eyes. And to clean up the pupils a tiny bit, because I just couldn't stay inside the lines, could I? Okay. Nope, I'm on the flat layer again. Don't do that, mate. Okay, we're good. Hue layer. Colors live on the hue layer. You know, maybe we ought to actually go full white for the things that are full white in the reference. Right, that one I'd have to actually update these values. Alright, there we go. Yeah, that pops a little better. Okay, we're good. We're still on the right layers. This is the step when I'm most likely to just completely mess up my layer management, so like I have to check a lot. It's just because there's multiple active layers at once, and so it tends to mess with things. Or at least I'm more likely, because I'm working in multiple of them, to mess stuff up. Okay. Let's sort out the eyes, shall we? Nope, not on this layer. Dag nabbit. Literally in the middle of talking about not drawing on the wrong layer, and I darn near did it again. And then I'm actually going to borrow the bright white from down here to get those. And I'm going to do one more thing that I wouldn't normally bother with, but shirt color. Because these lines actually need to be a specific color, I need to make sure that I just clip something to the lines layer so that I can color over those real quick. Oops, that might be a little much, but there we go. That's popping a little better now. Okay. I play around on this layer just a little bit to try to make things pop a hair more. Aha. Okay, let's see, that's this one. What if we make that even lighter? Whoops, okay, I'm on the wrong layer. Still. We make it lighter. Hair does pop more, but what if I swap these? That looks a lot more true to the original, doesn't it? Yeah, I feel like that does. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Getting the skin tone right on characters is hard. Both because skin tones are hard, and especially when it's a different character, you want to make sure that you're not, like, getting it way off the mark. Funny that the socks are the same one now. Those were really, really bright socks in the original. We can go up a few on those, probably. I realize they won't match the shirt anymore, but, like, they'll be close enough. Maybe. Well, whoops, let's not color in the whole world. Put the hue back on here. Okay, yeah. That's looking plausible. I'm sure I'm going to come back to the face at some point and still feel off, but, like, all in all, this is still at least, you know, recognizable and reasonably respectable. Whoops, hold on, let me... I do feel like maybe this shoe, something is off about this shoe, like the plane of it. Or maybe it's, no, it's something's off with this shoe. I see what it is, too. It feels like we're too much above it because I've inexplicably chosen to make it where the underside vanishes, which is not a good choice. These types of shoes, they tend to carry around on the front anyway, but having the underside vanish sort of implied that we were in fact much more above it than we actually are, which in turn made the other shoe look like it was flying because it made this one look like it was so far down. I think there may still be other, like, proportion things we need to sort out to fully fix that, but this should help. I didn't really fix that piece, but we'll see. Oh, hey! Hello, everyone! Wow, second raid of the night. Wasn't expecting that. Well, thanks for dropping on by. How are y'all doing? Where y'all raiding from? Vibe go crazy. Thanks for bringing folks. What brings you to these parts on this fine evening or morning or whenever it happens to be for y'all? Minnesota. Okay, cool. Well, not too far off time zone wise. I'm a ways below y'all. Oh, we're doing art fight. So we're actually this one's a little rough, but we're getting there. This is the original character that you see up in the top left here is by here. I can even zoom it out a bit so you can see the whoops. This one is this is by yeah, there we go. GalacticTragedy, who I think is also in chat, or at least was here earlier. We're having a go at trying to draw the same character for Art Fight, which, if y'all don't know Art Fight, it's basically a big ol' annual competition that happens every July, where artists get split into two separate teams, and then you win points for your team by drawing art of the other folks. Hey, now we don't need that kind of energy in here. Okay, fair enough. Thank y'all for dropping by then. Hey, thanks, Joseph. And yeah, good to see you, Galactic. So yeah, we're getting there on this. We'll add shading and highlights tomorrow, most likely, because it's getting just a tad late down here. If y'all are in Minnesota, we're down here in Texas, but or at least I can't speak for everyone else. I'm in Texas. People tend to be all over the place in streams. That's part of the fun of it. Hey, no worries. Like, you don't have to love it or hate it. Just like, we try not to share age stuff too much. Just there's all sorts of Twitch terms of service and risks and all that. It's kind of not a good idea, generally speaking. It's a fair question, but like, I'm not young enough to be violating the terms of service or anything, but like, it's just generally not the best. Well, again, this isn't my character. This is Galactic's character, so I can't name anything. I'm doing art of someone else's deal. And I believe her name's already Pandora. No, I don't know that it's. I don't think it's Janet at this point. Oh, software. This is Clip Studio Paint. Highly recommend it. It's actually it's pretty affordable. It's much better business practices than dealing with like Adobe and all of that jazz. If you're looking for free stuff to start, I highly recommend Krita. It's also super user friendly and great. But Clip Studio Paint's got a few really nice vector tools that Krita doesn't have yet, so that's made it worth it for me. Yeah, Deborah's not a bad name, but I don't know that it fits this character. Deborah'd have to be her own character. Geo? I mean, I can't, and I feel like Galactic probably doesn't want to. Yeah, this is Stardew Valley music. It's the creator has very publicly said that they're chill with people using their music in streams. It's wonderful background music to draw to, nice and relaxing, keeps kind of a calm atmosphere going. I've been enjoying it an awful lot, and I enjoy Stardew Valley. We stream that sometimes too. Hey guys, let's leave Galactic alone a little bit on that. Clearly, Galactic doesn't want to change the name. So like maybe could we chill on that topic? Like we got to be respectful of the original creator's intent on these things. Ah, cool. Yeah, I am not going to be letting you post that comment, but thank you for attempting that. If you pull something like that, I am going to ban you. That said, I do appreciate the raid. Obviously, that wasn't aimed at you, Leok. The person who left that comment knows who they are. I won't out them for that, and I appreciate it. Appreciate people dropping by. Always happy to have people drop by. That's the fun of Twitch, is you can just sort of... It's almost like every stream is like just a little stop on the side of a highway, and people drive by, and you never know who's going to pull in. Sometimes people come back, and it becomes a bit of a thing. Yeah, we've got the one warning. The one single warning, but yeah. If you post... Yeah, well, any more violations and you'll be out, but we'll let the one slide. That was the single warning. He's used it. Oh. Well, in that case, I'm not going to be allowing that one through either. Very, very chill of you to decide to do this. Let's... cool, I didn't want to have to dig through the moderation settings today. We try not to dig too far into politics on here. I figure people's political views probably doesn't really impact the art that we're trying to do. And I enjoy talking politics one-on-one, but in a group, it almost always turns into people feeling super defensive. So I don't even know who that is. Hmm. Let's see. Okay. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. Yeah. Okay, guys. I see the puns that we're making here. They're not terribly clever. I'm all for a good pun, but there's better options. If it's all the same to everyone else, I think we were about to wrap the stream anyway. So I'd rather end on a high note if we can. For anyone who's curious, we will be coming back to this next time. We will be doing lighting and shadows, and yeah, we'll get this one posted on Artfight pretty soon. I'll be honest, I'm already an hour longer than I meant to be streaming today. So as much as it's been fun to see y'all, I really do need to wrap. But I hope you'll have a good time. Again, we are on the Twitch Superhighway. I'm sure you'll find another rest stop soon, and you can go hang out there. Sorry, y'all. But thank y'all for the raid. I seriously appreciate it. Okay. I will see y'all next time. Thanks to everyone who dropped by.